Hey guys, what's up? Clyde for NOLA.com, Times-Picayune, here with Will Guillory, Pelicans beat reporter for NOLA.com and Times-Picayune, here at the Ochsner Sports Performance Center. We just wanted to give you a quick update on everything that's going on, specifically after yesterday's zany, crazy day. NBA free agency was going to be something that was going to be big. It was going to be big for the Pelicans, as it was for the NBA. You saw the first domino fall with LeBron James, obviously, over the weekend, and now, just days later, we're talking about what's happened in the West. So before, in case people haven't been living under a rock or living under some other things, let's give the fans a quick update on everything that's happened over the course of the last 24 hours.
Yeah, so DeMarcus Cousins left the New Orleans Pelicans. He signed a one-year deal with the Golden State Warriors. Hello. And Rajon Rondo left as well. He's headed to the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Pelicans are going to try to figure out a way to replace those guys. They signed New Orleans native Elfrid Payton to a one-year deal, maybe start him at the point guard position, and they're going to sign Julius Randle from the Los Angeles Lakers to a two-year deal, maybe have him step into that big man role next to Anthony Davis. And now this team has got a completely different look. They're younger. They're trying to play a little bit faster. Maybe they played very fast last year after DeMarcus went down, but they're going to try to play really fast next year. And now they're trying to build this thing with some young guys and try to regroup now. That they hope that they can kind of bring this thing back after last year, and now obviously that's out of the window, so now they got to start from scratch.
Breaking it down, we'll start really with the Rajon Rondo news, because that was the first thing that came through the pipe really yesterday afternoon. You know, we obviously, we were hoping to hear at least some news about the team and negotiations between the sides, because I mean, we knew specifically that having Rajon Rondo, having DeMarcus Cousins being the two biggest free agents for the Pelicans to look at wanting re-signing. When that news came across, it was pretty much the first kind of big domino on that front, because signing a $9 million deal with the Lakers, joining now a team that features LeBron James, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and now Rajon Rondo, and the talk about him getting at least some kind of notification from the Lakers that he's going to. He and Lonzo Ball are going to be fighting for the starting point guard spot.
And the most the Pelicans were able to offer him was around $8.5 million. And I think from my reporting that they were willing to give him that offer, and it was on the table for him. But ultimately, he decided to just take a little bit more money with the Lakers. Obviously, he's in a better position to compete for a title with that LeBron James team next year. So I think he's just jumped at that opportunity, and it's really unfortunate for the Pelicans just because he was so important for them last year with his leadership, his off-the-court role he played, especially for guys like Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday, the way he kind of guided them through that playoff run. It was so important, but now they're going to just try to replace him with Elfrid Payton, hopefully a younger guy that can maybe be more durable during the regular season. Elfrid has been known for a guy that can really play all 82 games. He's not injured that much. They're hoping that he can really step in and just really play the entire season and do a lot of the things that Rondo did. But ultimately, it's a lot on his shoulders, and it's going to come down to him and Drew Holiday really stepping up in that backcourt next year.
And then, literally, almost maybe 40 minutes later, and you tweeted this before. This was, and I think this was the key. DeMarcus Cousins' manager tweeted out. I think it was something to the effect of
Boogie Bomb.
Boogie Bomb.
The Boogie Bomb is coming.
Yeah, the Boogie Bomb was coming. So I mean, we saw that and we were like, what does that mean? Yeah. And then literally maybe a few minutes later, obviously the Woj bomb dropped, and we were all, at least I was still in the office because I think people are trying to keep me at the office all day. But obviously, DeMarcus Cousins announced that he was going to sign with the Golden State Warriors for $5.3 million, which is the max of what the Warriors had left, even after some of the moves they did, and completely kind of, once again, kind of shook the NBA world off its axis.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what they seem to specialize in nowadays, is kind of making these splash moves in the offseason. And now, I mean, it's incredible to see they're going to have a starting lineup once DeMarcus gets back. They're going to have 5 All-Stars out there, which is crazy to think about. And to add a guy like DeMarcus, where they were so built around playing that up-tempo spread style where they're shooting a ton of threes with Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant. Now you got a bruiser like DeMarcus Cousins in the paint. I mean, that team is going to be so tough to defend. So now it's not a big thing for him. It's just when he can get healthy and what is he going to look like once he gets back healthy. And I think that was a big part of why his offers wasn't necessarily what he thought they were going to be going into the offseason. So I think he was a little upset with where negotiations were with the Pelicans. So he was just like, hey, I'm going to just go grab a ring. That's the thing now, I guess, is I'm going to just go grab a ring with the Warriors. So, I mean, he's going to have a great opportunity next year. But the big thing is, what is he going to look like coming back from that Achilles? So many guys, when you suffer that type of injury, you're never really the same. And DeMarcus, I know he's really working hard to come back, and he's a young guy, so he might have a good chance. But it's going to be a long road for him. But being in Golden State isn't a bad place to recover, right?
Yeah, it's not a terrible place to recover. As with all things, especially with free agency, as we usher those two out, we usher two more in. So first of all, let's talk about Julius Randle. Obviously, you tweeted this last night. Julius Randle, really young player, coming off one of the best seasons of his career. And I know there was a lot of talk last night, specifically among people who felt like Laker fans were starting to feel like he was a player that they could invest in because he was showing that progress. Right. And obviously last night you could tell, we both tweeted this last night, but both he and his wife seemed to be very excited about this new turn for them coming to New Orleans and being with the Pelicans. So talk a little bit about Julius Randle, talk a little bit about what his game is, what he can do now specifically, and how that'll be able to work with a player like Anthony Davis who he can go from the 4 to the 5, and how it's going to work with the Pelicans going forward.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it already. He was a guy that had the best season in his career last year with the Lakers, even though they put him on the bench earlier in the year. Later in the year, they put him in the starting lineup, and then he really exploded. He was averaging around 18 and 9 a game in that starting lineup. Just a very versatile forward that can face up, play in the post, rebound. I think they really like him and Anthony together as that combo that can run up and down the court. Two guys that can grab it off the rim and run in transition. Guys that can play on the perimeter. They both can play on the perimeter. Both guys can play inside. So I think they'll be a really nice fit, and he's a young guy that they can invest in going forward. But the key for him is that he's on a one-year deal, basically. So what is he going to look like going after this year? Is he going to be looking for a big deal next summer like a lot of these guys are? So I think that's going to be a big question going forward. But next year, I think him and Anthony can play well together in a lot of ways. It's just a matter of fitting those two guys together. And like we mentioned before, Elfrid Payton's got to be really good. I mean, that's just the point of this team. Now, Rondo was so important for them, especially after DeMarcus went down, and now Elfrid's got to step up and be that guy.
Yeah, and then obviously, this is and one of the great things about specifically the Elfrid Payton story is not just that he's a local kid, played at Arrowhead, he played collegiately at Louisiana Lafayette just right up the road, and now he's coming back to play for his hometown team. So, I mean, obviously it's a beautiful story to see. I mean, obviously he's going to be very excited. He's going to want to produce. And I think it's going to be double that just because obviously he went from going to Orlando and being a young prospect that I know a lot of people in the NBA really liked his game. And he was able to prove that. But then going from Orlando, then going to Phoenix, and then moving around, and now he's with the Pelicans. Obviously, he's going to have something to show too, but clearly his game should be able to translate well. And then the rotation style, especially if this team stays the same, if you can keep a guy like Ian Clark and then guys like that, and having a really nice rotation of guards like that can do a lot of different things pretty well, and then complement what each other can do.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, one, that Elfrid hasn't necessarily lived up to expectations he had coming in. A lot of people thought he could be, that Rondo-esque type of guard coming in, and I don't think he's really lived up to that. But I think you could also say that he's a typical guy that really probably got drafted to the wrong spot. He went to a situation where they were constantly changing coaches, changing people in the front office. There wasn't a lot of talent around him. So I think it's a situation where maybe he comes there and he plays with a guy like Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday, and you can really see his skill set flourish on this team. But then also you can see a situation where maybe he turns out to not be that good. So I think it can go either way. But I think there isn't a situation that he can be in a better position than he is in right now when you're playing with a guy like Anthony Davis. We've seen so often with Tim Frazier, Ish Smith, so many of these guys, Anthony Davis has made them look good in pick-and-roll situations. So I know he's really excited to play here. And I don't usually co-sign West Bank guys, but we'll make an exception this time. So I think Elfrid will be all right. And he cut his hair too, so I think everybody can be excited about that. Maybe he can see the basket a little better now.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us. But continue to follow all of our coverage of all things Pelicans on our Facebook page. You're watching right now, but New Orleans Pelicans on NOLA.com. Follow us on Twitter at Pelicans Hoops. You can follow this man right here at Will Guillory on Twitter. We'll have all coverage as the Pelicans continue to do workouts before they head to Vegas, and then once they're in Vegas, we'll have coverage of that. Stay tuned with us. We'll give you all the information on the Pelicans as we get through Summer League and then to training camp, which, as crazy as it may sound, is not that far away. So stay tuned with us. So I'm Clyde Varan, for Will Guillory. Thanks so much for watching.